Let's welcome in right now our dear friend. He is the athletic director at San Diego State. J.D. Wicker is joining us today. And J.D., I tell you what, we got a lot to get to, but this Fair Pay to Play Act that was signed into law, of course, it won't become law until January 1st of 2023, signed in by Governor Newsom. What is the reaction, J.D., that you're getting from other athletic directors? I just want to insert the fact that Barry Alvarez of Wisconsin has publicly stated he will not schedule any California teams from this point forward.
Yeah, I think we've known it was going to be signed for a little while. So we recognize that. We're still frustrated over the fact that the legislature and the governor didn't want to collaborate with the NCAA as we're working on name, image, and likeness kind of rules or concepts right now that we can, put into place for all 1,100 NCAA institutions as opposed to just the ones in California. And I think there's a lot of unintended consequences that come with California trying to do their own thing.
JD, I know you have a child. If your child turned out to be a college athlete, would you want it to be a situation where she could profit off of her likeness in some way?
Yeah, I think I think we're going to come to some reasonable way to handle name, image, and likeness. My big thing would be if I've got a child who's a female student athlete and she's getting her, entire college career paid for, that's pretty valuable to me. I mean, that's one of the things I get frustrated that kind of gets lost in the conversation is you have a minority, a very small minority of the student athletes that may have a chance to really profit from this. And the hope is that we can figure out how not to impact those student athletes in sports like track or water polo or soccer that don't generate a lot of profit from those sports, that we can continue to still have those sports on our campus.
J.D. Wicker, San Diego State's athletic director, joining us on the Cannons. Rocky Long joined Judson this morning. I think Costa was off. He joined Judson. And he said, this isn't an exact quote, but he said he believes that this could be the end of amateur athletics as we know it. Would you agree that this changes the way that college athletics looks moving forward?
I mean, I think I think we'll do something with name, image, and likeness. Is it going to make things look different? I do. I don't think it's the end of college athletics. I think we'll figure out a way to hopefully be able to handle this across the NCAA so it's a level, fair playing field. Everybody's operating under the same rules as opposed to 50 different states with 50 different sets of rules, and nobody knows exactly what the other guy's doing.
We're talking with J.D. Wicker, athletic director at San Diego State, talking about this Fair Pay to Play Act, which was signed into law. Again, it won't take place till January 1st, 2023 by Governor Newsom. All right, this also opens the Pandora's box of rich alums just throwing cash into guys' pockets. I mean, there won't be any rules against it. If somebody wants to throw $100,000 at the quarterback or $200,000 to the star running back or star basketball player, I guess under this rule, that's all legal. So how would you operate under those circumstances?
I had this conversation with somebody recently, if trying to set what is the market value, the NCAA, we passed a rule that, way back when all those star student athletes ended up working for rich alumni and, they're making $100 an hour to, sit in the back room and not do anything. And we found a way to handle that. So I think it's, what is the value of someone doing an advertisement for a local car dealership or insurance agency or something like that and figuring out, okay, that typically pays X. So there would be a cap on it to, a certain extent based on what everyone else is having done. I'd love to see something like that if we end up there.
You've been around college athletics for a long time. In your opinion, will we see a larger separation between the best teams and really everyone else? Or could this even the playing field a little bit in some ways?
I don't necessarily see it evening the playing field. Again, I'd like to see the same set of rules for everyone out there. So there is, that level playing field. But potentially if you're in a place like San Diego where there's more opportunities to do local marketing than, say, a Starkville, Mississippi, or an Ames, Iowa, or something like that, that can certainly have a benefit for San Diego State or teams that are in larger markets.
If the NCAA comes up with their policy on name, image, and likeness, and it is not the exact same as the law that was just passed in the state of California, what happens then?
We've supposedly the legislators had said they're going to be willing to go back and look at what the NCAA passes, and if they're agreeable and changes need to be made, they'll make those changes. I think that remains to be seen. If there is a difference between the rules and there is no movement from the California legislature, then you're looking at schools in California having to choose between following what is state law or following what are NCAA rules, and then weighing the ramifications of that of, are student athletes ineligible? Are we ineligible to compete in championships, or what that may be?
All right, I mentioned earlier, JD, that Barry Alvarez, the athletic director at Wisconsin, has made it clear he will not schedule the Badgers to play against any teams from California because of this Fair Pay to Play Act. You are the one that's negotiating with these schools, non-conference schools, to try to get home and homes done. Has any of this been mentioned leading up to this? And do you think it could be a problem down the road as far as scheduling for the Aztecs is concerned?
Fortunately, from a football standpoint, we're scheduled out pretty far. Hopefully that within the next year or two, this will all be remedied. We will have come to some resolution within the NCAA and what NIL looks like. But there definitely could be, a bump in the road or a hiccup on some of our other sports trying to schedule. If this keeps pushing closer to that January 1, 2023 date, we could really run into some problems with scheduling for, all of your other sports, baseball, basketball, soccer, those sports.
What is the best case scenario here? I know it feels like the Pandora's box has yet to be opened, but it really has been. The NCAA has already paid out and settled some lawsuits for name and likeness. This has received enough attention. It feels like this is going somewhere. So in your case, if you could control this whole situation and put the best policies in place, how would you handle all this?
Again, I think it's the NCAA as a whole working towards finding name, image, and likeness rules that work within what it is that we do. Yes, men's basketball and football are the two sports that drive the overwhelming majority of the revenue that pays for all of the other student athletes to have the experience that they do, whether it's at San Diego State, Cal, Alabama, or wherever that is. So I'm hopeful that we can find something that, works across all of the divisions, and that the states will, find works for them as well. I think there's some legal remedies out there for the NCAA as you start thinking about interstate commerce and the interruption of interstate commerce, where a state is creating a rule that doesn't allow, this California schools to participate in the NCAA. There's some precedent for that. But hopefully we don't get to that. We can come up with something that works, and the legislators in the state of California recognize that the actual experts have been the ones that have crafted the legislation, and they're good with it.
J.D. Wicker joining us on Xtra. San Diego State football, by the way, this weekend at Colorado State at Canvas Stadium. That game can be heard right here on Xtra 1360. J.D., during the process of Sdsu West, did you have a chance to tour Canvas Stadium, the new stadium on campus for Colorado State?
Yes, I believe I've been there 3 times. I'm excited to see it in actual game action on Saturday night. But they did a really good job with their stadium, and there's definitely some elements of what they did there. Their new Belgium porch, which is a standing room only area in the end zone with a bar, is some of the concept that we've introduced in various areas of our stadium. So they did a really good job, and excited to see it in action.
Talking also about this Fair Pay to Play Act, I keep harping on this because there's only, the last time I counted, 3 schools in the Mountain West Conference that are from the state of California. You have schools from 6 other states, 7 other actually, if you count Hawaii. So, how do you just deal from a conference standpoint with this Fair Pay to Play Act?
Again, it's one of those we've got a lot of work ahead of us to make sure that everyone's playing under the same set of rules. Or, I realized that some people got upset and felt like the NCAA was threatening the state of California. They were just realistically laying out, and you've heard it from Gene Smith, you've heard it from Barry Alvarez, and you've heard it from others, that if we have an advantage that others don't have because a rule has been created, then, I would probably be in the same boat if I were outside the state of California right now, saying that I'm going to be hesitant to schedule someone in California until this gets all settled out.
Now, I understand on the lunar schedule that the college football season goes by. We happened across one of these years with 2 bye weeks. Do you feel rested after your first one here?
It was a busy weekend for the Wickers. We caught up on the pumpkin patch.
And there we go.
Had a couple date nights with my wife, so that was fantastic. I'm definitely rested, relaxed, and ready. I head up to Seattle on Wednesday for some donor meetings, and then head to Denver, and then up for Colorado State. So we're excited to get back going, and definitely got to get the taste of Utah State out of our mouth and have a chance to play what is a talented Colorado State team.
JD, we always appreciate your time. We're looking forward to football this weekend from Colorado State right here on Xtra, and thank you as always. We look forward to talking soon.
All right, guys. Appreciate it much.